What's going on, wrestling family? Welcome back to the channel. So we got 12 moments that were not supposed to happen at Survivor Series 2024 War Games. Let me know in the comment section how you guys felt about Survivor Series this year. And before we get started, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Let's get into it.
A Survivor Series War Games 2024 is officially in the books, and the show saw some of the most infamous botches of the calendar year. Join us now as we look at moments that weren't supposed to happen at Survivor Series War Games 2024. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new videos on WrestleMania XL. Number 1, the worst chair shot ever.
Yeah.
The Survivor Series War Games 2024 kicked off with the Women's War Games matchup, and one of the main criticisms directed towards the match was how unbelievably bad some of the weapon shots looked. Specifically, when Nia Jax was using the steel chair, she made it look like Hulk Hogan in WCW was swinging the chair,
That's
as
the
the
first
chair
thing I
shots
thought about.
looked insanely weak. There was one point where it looked like Jax was about to hit Naomi over the head with the sinister steel, yet Jax remembered WWE's no chair shot to the head policy, so she decided against it. It was incredibly awkward to witness, and whilst it's appreciated that Jax didn't want to hurt her opponent, this was War Games, and War Games is supposed to be one of the most brutal and traumatizing matches of the year, so an element of intensity and danger is expected by fans as well as the wrestlers themselves. In an unexpected twist of fate, at one stage Jax was criticized for taking liberties with her opponents, and now she's getting backlash for not putting any intensity or force into her weapon shots. Number 2,
That is a
risk.
funny turn of events that she, people did criticize her for being unsafe in the ring, and now she's being safe, so she's getting criticized for that. So I know in her mind, she's probably like, yo, I can't do nothing without anybody complaining. And that's life. That is what it is. But those chair shots did look pretty bad. And I don't think it was just about the chair shot to the head policy or no chair shot to the head policy, because after she did that and she hit Naomi on the side, she just kind of lightly tapped her a little bit on the side. So it seemed like she was really trying to protect other people and make sure they don't get hurt. But I will give her credit for trying to protect other people in the ring. But I think this just wasn't the moment to do so. But as I said before in my review, that didn't ruin the match for me. It didn't. It was a funny spot, but it didn't ruin it for me.
No reward. The nature of War Games means that a lot of the major spots are gonna go wrong, and this was the case with the significant spot involving the top of the cage. Io Sky would drop down to the top of the steel cage in an attempt to sunset flip powerbomb Candice LeRae. Unfortunately, Sky couldn't get enough grip, so the spot was abandoned, and then both women improvised. The improvisation worked extremely well, and both women deserve a ton of credit for not letting the botch let them go off track. Now, it's also worth noting that Sky is receiving rave reviews for her performance in the match, and some are even calling her the MVP of the entire premium live event. Number 3, where's the weapon? Now, as Raquel Rodriguez made her way into War Games, she rather hilariously failed to find a weapon. When it was apparent that Rodriguez couldn't find a weapon under the ring, she tried to play it off, yet it was obvious that she was confused and unsure how to proceed.
Yeah, she was out there for a long time looking for something. And I was like, what? Because she had to be looking for something specific, because she just started she pulled out a couple random things, and obviously that wasn't enough. And then you see her just going back and forth outside the ring, looking for a particular weapon. I kind of wonder what that was.
The former NXT Women's Champion would even inform the referee that she was unable to locate the weapon, and in a terrible blunder, Raquel Rodriguez didn't exactly whisper a comment to the referee.
And I wonder if what spot that took away because that weapon wasn't available,
as it was insanely loud. Some fans have speculated that due to her being unable to locate the weapon, numerous spots in the match were actually cancelled, and this was potentially why a strong portion of the match looked awkward and improvised. Number 4,
that would explain that.
The turnbuckle camera can be hit and miss in WWE, and for the opening match at War Games, it malfunctioned on more than one occasion. During a key spot on the turnbuckle between Candice LeRae and Bianca Belair, the turnbuckle camera was supposed to capture the spot, however it somehow completely missed it. This led to Michael Cole describing the spot, but it had little effect as the fans didn't get to witness it. There were lots of elements in the match that seemed to go wrong. There was a lack of communication between the wrestlers in the match, and it was almost as if nobody knew their planned spots. Yes, War Games matches are messy, yet there's no excuse for the match to be all over the place, and this was unfortunately the case with the Women's War Games match this year. Number 5.
And that was the thing though, because I don't really pay attention to a lot of people's comments online about this stuff, but I did see some creators make videos explaining how they feel, and they have the right to say what they have to say. But they kept saying like, oh, well, it's War Games, it's supposed to be messy, everything isn't supposed to be perfect. And that's completely true, because you got a ton of people in the ring that have to remember their spots, that you have to trust to do their spots. If someone forgets, somebody gets a miscue, somebody misses a step, then problems are going to happen. And again, with that many people in the ring, is more likely to happen than not. But at the same time, you can't expect people not to realize they saw what they saw. Now, depending on what degree they start to criticize those moments or what level they take it to, that's a whole different story, because people are taking it over the top, then yeah, they should be criticized. But you can't expect people to turn a blind eye and act like they didn't see what they saw in that match. It's like if you get in a car accident and somebody's like, "Oh, well, you know what? I'm sorry, your windshield is in your back seat, but I hit your car because it's icy outside." And you may understand why they did it, but you can't pretend that the car accident didn't happen. And that's what some people are expecting. Now, I do agree there's some people who do get a little too critical with some of the women matches in general, but this is wrestling. I think at least for me, I noticed it, but again, it never ruined the entire match for me. So you can't expect people to just be like, "Oh, I didn't see that. It didn't happen. The match was a 10 out of 10." No, because that's being disingenuous just to be positive, right? And I'm a positive person, but I don't want a lot of people just to be positive.
LA Knight drops his title. As LA Knight made his way down to the ring, he made a rare blunder as he dropped his US title. As Corey Graves was quick to comment on the botch,
Yeah,
it was
I saw
nice to
that.
see the commentary team actually outright acknowledging a botch of this nature. Number 6, Michael Cole's apology.
Yeah, but they cleaned it up pretty good. They just said that Shinsuke was in LA Knight's head, so that's the reason why he wasn't thinking straight and he dropped the title. So that was a nice cleanup for Corey. That was a really good cleanup.
During War Games, Michael Cole incorrectly stated that Io Sky walked out of WrestleMania 40 as women's champion.
Yeah,
Obviously, this is
it was
incorrect,
Bailey.
and it was Bailey who defeated Sky at WrestleMania. Cole would actually issue an apology during the LA Knight vs Shinsuke Nakamura match, which he didn't need to do, but it was appreciated that they wanted to correct his work.
No, I thought
Hearing
that was
Cole
cool.
correct himself like this would never occur in the old era of WWE, and it just shows how comfortable he is without Vince McMahon screaming down his ear for the duration of the live show. Number 7, Let's Go Breaker. During the triple threat showdown for the Intercontinental title, the fans firmly got behind babyface Sheamus, and Michael Cole decided to state that the crowd were chanting for Bron Breakker, despite the fans actively chanting "Let's Go Sheamus." It's likely that Cole either misspoke or genuinely believed that the fans were chanting for Breakker as opposed to Sheamus. Thankfully for Cole, this was the only botch in a match that has received universal praise. Breakker, Sheamus, and Ludwig Kaiser all receiving vast applause on social media for their work in the match, and fans are quite labeling it as a match of the night. Number 8,
so
Michael
good,
Cole
man.
can't stop laughing. During the opening of the main event, Tama Tonga began to crawl along the wall of the steel cage. This was an odd visual to say the very least, but the antics were definitely something that outlandish character of Tonga would actually deliver. Hilariously, Michael Cole stated that Tonga wouldn't be able to do that if it was a Punjabi prison match. For whatever reason, Cole found this incredibly funny, and even Corey Graves joined in on the hilarity. Whilst this did act as a tonal shift, it was just a passing moment of comedy and it didn't take anything away from the match. Number 9, WWE misses the curse word. Whilst WWE have loosened their stance on curse words over the past year, certain words are certainly censored out. However, during the Bloodline vs Bloodline War Games match, WWE failed to censor Jey Uso screaming a curse word at the top of his lungs. Main event, Jey would scream the curse word during a physical confrontation with Bronson Reed, and whilst WWE management may take issue with the word, it did add to the moment. It's likely that the curse word will be blanked out on subsequent replays of the show on Peacock.
Oh, that's
Number
not
10,
that serious,
Tonga
bro.
Loa sucks.
We moving over to Netflix, baby. We moving to Netflix, baby. If this is what people are worried about, don't watch WWE in 2025. I'm not saying they're gonna let loose and go crazy, but it's gonna be a lot more curse words than we're used to in that.
It's rare for the sound on the WWE show to pick up one specific fan shouting out. However, during the main event War Games matchup, a fan shouted out, and then the second fan shouted. It's unclear why these two specific comments were picked up on the mic, and it was potentially an issue within the sound production of the show.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, whilst Loa's work of the match was passable, he started to get a reputation ever since his WWE debut for botching in virtually every appearance he makes, and it appears that the crowd are slowly catching on to Loa's misfortunes inside the squared circle. Number 11,
He should just embrace it and just do it on purpose now.
Since debuting in WWE, Jacob Fatu is impressed, and he's a surefire contender to be a future world champion in the company. Fatu was on a roll in War Games, but that was until he attempted a springboard move and slipped. Fatu
So he did slip. I thought that because I remember he was up there and he was at the top, he dropped down, and then he did the moonsault. But I thought that he did that on purpose a little bit. Huh. All right.
his leg, and it was evident that he was in immense pain. Fatu moved to the corner and off camera. Bronson Reed was even checking on him, which implies that the botch was legitimate and Fatu
I
was
thought he was just
legitimately
selling it
hurt.
because
Fatu would
I
push
thought he was just selling it because his leg hit CM Punk's leg, and I thought he was supposed to sell the fact that he missed the moonsault because he didn't land on CM Punk. But I guess it would make sense. I guess it would make sense that he missed the moonsault and then he actually hurt himself. But I don't think he was listed on any of the injury reports. I think it was just Bronson Reed and Jimmy Uso. So
through the pain for the rest of the match, but he was hobbling and using one leg, which is obviously a big concern. Some fans have theorized that the injury spot was scripted to take him out of the closing moments of the match, which is a possibility, yet it would be an unusual way to take him out of action if it was WWE's grand idea. An injury to Fatu would truly be devastating news, so hopefully it's nothing too serious, and Fatu is able to continue on his acclaimed run. More news is likely to be confirmed by a reputable outlet in the fallout from the show. Fatu vs Roman Reigns is a certified dream match, and it's definitely a match that seems on the cards for 2025.
We need
With
that.
the original Bloodline being victorious inside War Games, it does create on the idea that WWE will be moving forward with the new storyline. However, Michael Cole on commentary was quick to point out that Solo Sikoa is still in possession of the Ulafala. It's possible that WWE will look to build towards a Reigns vs Sikoa match to determine the true tribal chief, and that would bring the modern day Bloodline story to a close. It was reported this week that the original Bloodline will be sticking around as a collective unit as WWE moves to Netflix, but it's unclear how exactly this is going to work if the Bloodline vs Bloodline story arc is over. There's a strong chance that each member of the original group stays loosely connected, yet explores their own individual stories. This would be a great opportunity to reunite the group whenever WWE needs a quick ratings grab. And number 12, bad news for Jimmy Uso. Sadly, another injury occurred during the men's War Games match, as brother Jey Uso confirmed on the post-show press conference that Jimmy Uso broke his toe during the match. This was presumably when Jimmy went out for the high-risk splash on Jacob Fatu through the table. You can see from the match that his foot hit the ground first before his body. Hopefully he'll recover in time for a Rumble appearance, as 2025 will be a huge year for the Bloodline.
He'll be alright.
But there you have it, folks. 12
you know, one thing that I thought was interesting was when we saw Bronson Reed jump off the top to try to land on CM Punk for that tsunami. And if you look close, you see his ankle kind of bend awkwardly. So I was kind of surprised that he didn't get hurt in that situation. And I saw that he posted something on Instagram and he was like, injuries only temporary, moments are forever. So I was just like, oh, maybe he actually got hurt in that spot. But overall, you know, we had a lot of weird things happen at War Games. It is what it is. It's not a big deal. I'm not going to harp on these people about this. I enjoyed War Games or Survivor Series overall, personally. Do I think it was better than last year? Absolutely not, man. That's Chicago. I can't, despite all of this Ram stuff I got back here, bro. If you guys didn't know, I'm from Chicago. I'm not going to put nothing over Chicago, even if this was better than last year, okay? I'm biased. It is what it is. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. What was your favorite match? What was your least favorite match from the show? Let me know. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I appreciate you guys. Sorry that I wasn't recording so much, because as you see, these seasonal allergies is throwing me off, and it's always awkward for me to be trying to talk and sniffle through an entire video or through an entire stream. It's just weird for me. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me. I do appreciate each and every one of you guys. Salute. Peace. Have a great day.